Hey everybody, I'm back with a Fate Reforged-Khans Tarkir draft today. Looking at our first pack, our rare is Sage Eye Avengers. Card that I like quite a bit. It's a little bit expensive. It's not quite a snap pick, I would say, but it is a strong card. Only because it's slow. Do I dock it a little bit, but it's very powerful once it hits the board. Other than that, Hungering Yeti, Mardu Woe Reaper, fine uncommons, Bathing Dragonfire, pretty good. But I'd say in this pack this is an easy pick. Reach of Shadow is pretty good, Bathing Dragonfire pretty good. Nothing quite on the level of Sage Eye Avengers here. So we'll pick that up for now. Channel Harm is fine, it's a little bit expensive. Reality Shift, I haven't played with very much, but I understand to be quite good. Jeskai Sage and Sandblast, both cards that I would like to play. Sandblast much better than Jeskai Sage, of course. And then we have Whisk Away, Thornwood Falls. I think the best two cards in this pack, best three cards are probably the removal spells, Sandblast, Reality Shift, Whisk Away. And I think of these, I would just go for Reality Shift. Green and red and black in this pack, really nothing happening there. We have a sideboard card. Harsh Sustenance is pretty good. Hunt the Weak is pretty good. Lotus Passage In is quite good. I'm always happy to have these in my deck. And Sandstep Outcast is also extremely good. Little bit of a tough call for me between Sandstep Outcast and Lotus Passage In. This gets you 3 power and 2 toughness across 2 bodies. This gets you 2 power and 3 toughness. It's a little bit slower with some upside. I like this card a lot, but I feel like it's a little bit more replaceable. Only downside is that blue-white isn't really super powerful starting point unless we end up Jeskai, which really narrows us down a little bit. And Sultai Emissary is also fine. I'm just going to take the Sandstep Outcast right now because I think it's the best card. It doesn't look like white is very open though. Granted, we're only a few picks in, it's sometimes hard to get a read on packs like this. Blue is looking okay though. Meringue River Prowler is a good card. Almost definitely just going to take Aven Surveyor here. If we end up in this blue core tempo, cards like this are very important. So Frostwalker is a card I don't mind playing. You can always side it out against somebody who can deal with it extremely easily. Guide, Harsh Sustenance, and Hunt the Weak. I don't want to force Jeskai if it's not open. Swiftwater Cliffs is an option. We have seen some like borderline playable red cards come around. I think Sultai Emissary. Harsh Sustenance is probably the best card in this pack. Frostwalker stays in our colors. Sultai Emissary is fine. I think I'm going to take Frostwalker just because it's in our colors and it usually trades up. Not too often can your opponent deal with this without spending a card at least, and it's only a 2-drop, so that means you don't really mind. Collateral Damage is kind of a card that I like, probably a little more than I should, but it's good with tokens and it's kind of good with Frostwalker because I think we can respond to this sacrifice clause with collateral damage and get some value out of it. That aside, Destructive Dragon is fine. Formless Nurturing Hunt the Weak. We are seeing some reasonable green spells getting passed around, so it's possible we want to be like Teamer. I definitely think I want Hunt the Weak over collateral damage, so keep ourselves open to Teamer or Sultai here. Anut Guide would be okay for us. Frontier Mastodon would be okay. Vault Breaker actually looks pretty good. 4 power, if we end up in Teamer, that can be very relevant. And it has this loot effect. The dash is nice. I think that's probably the easy pick here. If we can pick up a few more good blue or red cards, I'm happy to establish a blue-red core and then figure out Jeskai versus Teamer versus just mostly blue-red in our next pack. That's much better than ending up in like blue-white out of pack 1. Jeskai Sage is certainly fine. We don't have a ton of just spells yet, but I think I prefer that to anything else here. Rite of Undoing is a card I like. Yeah, I think I still just want the Jeskai Sage here. So here we can go Cunning Strike, maybe Map the Waste, or Rakshasa's Disdain. Cunning Strike is probably fine. It's a little bit expensive for what it does. It's certainly not always going to make our deck. Rakshasa's Disdain is fine too. Although again, it's not always going to counter something. Actually, I'm gonna take Disdain. A little bit rewarded for that with Skullkeeper here. Not that it's that strong of a card, but it does play well with Rakshasa's Disdain. But we might also consider Thornwood Falls here because the mill 2 here is just a moderate upside. I think we'll take Thornwood Falls. Mana fixing is going to be a little more important than that upside of milling 2 when it comes up. Here we have another Hunt the Weak, which, I mean, this card is pretty solid. You want to make sure you have 2 and 3 drops that can just eat a guy when they get a +1/+1 counter put on them, but I don't think I want anything else in this pack more than Hunt the Weak. And it's looking like Teamer is open. I think a lot of people don't like drafting Teamer, but it's just fine as an archetype, especially if it's open. Bearing that in mind, we will take Fierce Invocation. We may or may not play it. Very unlikely to play any of those cards. And there's a small chance that we would end up playing this. It's a little expensive though. We don't have any morphs yet though, which is something that can really eat up mana, so it makes cards like this a little easier to consider. Now, we don't have any fixing yet for Jeskai, but we do have a Jeskai Ascendancy, which is pretty good. Although we also didn't get a lot of the Manifest creature spells. So I'm not sure how important this is. I'm kind of thinking we don't have the deck for this. Which has me looking at Alpine Grizzly. I like Windstorm just fine. I like Alabaster Kieran if we were going to end up in Jeskai. Same thing with Freed Weapon Master. But I think what we've seen in the last pack was Teamer being very open. I don't want to move in a different direction with the first pack. We don't really have tokens, and we don't really have a lot of non-creature spells. So we really have to warp our draft around Jeskai Ascendancy to make it good. So I'm going to let it go and take Alpine Grizzly here. That leaves us with some cards that go reasonably well with this. Teamer Charger, Incremental Growth. I think the card that I really like here is Mystic of the Hidden Way. Definitely a non-bow with Frostwalker here. Teamer Charger is pretty tempting though, as a 2-drop, which we're lacking in. I think I'm going to take the unblockable guy, keep our blue core, stay a little more open for now. We'll see what happens. Horde Ambusher and Jeskai Wind Scout immediately jump to the front of this pack. Savage Punch, a card we'd like to get at some point if we end up with some reasonable number of 4-power guys. So this takes out a blocker. We're not really red yet. Fearsome Vacation is just I'll play it if I have to. A little bit awkward if we end up in Bant colors, but it's not impossible. We haven't seen any strong Teamer cards come around, so let's stick with blue. Okay, Winter Flame is nice. Another Mystic of the Hidden Way is nice. Longshot Squad is good. So what do we want here? Our creatures don't look too bad. Boy, I'd like to get Mystic of the Hidden Way and Incremental Growth. Get a couple of these guys. Our green is actually looking, pretty decent, so Longshot Squad would be an option, I think. Or we just take Mystic of the Hidden Way, which we almost definitely play. I'll take the removal spell right now. Something that we're lacking in a little bit. You can tell I'm not psyched about it, but I probably want Glacial Stalker here. It looks boring, but it's one of the better morphs, I think. You compare it to something like Inoc Tracker, which we could also end up with. I'd rather just have a Glacial Stalker in most cases. Summon Prowler's fine, but because we're so far from double red right now, I'm not looking to pick that up just yet. I will take the Glacial Stalker. And here's a Bear's Companion. That's a good reason to move back towards Teamer. Certainly prefer this over Sandstep Outcast. And good black cards in this pack. But I also don't think we're moving towards black for either of them, and we can just pick this up. Although keeping those black cards in mind in case we do see some black fixing. Horde Ambusher is still a card that I want, but I like Savage Punch too. We've got a 4-drop, 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 4-power, 4-power, 4-power. Although we can't cast Savage Punch on it. I think I want Savage Punch over the Horde Ambusher. Really like to get a Ice Feather Aven in this deck. I think I like Windstorm here. We have just one flying guy. Sorry, 2 flying guys. But as a sideboard card, I think that will be just fine. I think it's better than Swift Kick. And I don't think we're playing Efreet Weapon Master in this deck. We'll take a Windstorm as a sideboard card. Doesn't go great with our deck, but we could play it. And we don't really have a deck for Trumpet Blast. Don't really have a deck for Defiant Strike. I would have taken something different in that last pack if I knew I could have got another Windstorm here. I'm going to take Defiant Strike. Not likely to make our cut. We do have a couple prowess guys. Act of Treason I actually like quite a bit for us. Especially we have the Savage Punch. We'll take this over anything else in this pack for sure. Swift Kick. It's not something we're likely to play. War Behemoth. Maybe we just take. Yeah, War Shrieker, sure. Naturalize, always good to have in the sideboard. And Assault High Banner. We're not in too bad a shape. We don't have super powerful cards, but we have a nice average power level, I would say. Sage Eye, even Avengers and Bear's Companion are both really good. Everything else is just kind of okay. And we have Dig Through Time, which is worth a couple tickets, and is a good card in its own right. Arc Lightning, which is very good. And some okay cards in War Name Aspirant, Force Away, cards that we'd want to play. We're just going to take Dig Through Time, though. We don't really have Delve. It does work with our few prowess guys. I think we actually only have 3 of. Wow, not our best pack here for rares or uncommons. So we're looking at Hooting Mandrills. Both Hooting Mandrills and Treasure Cruise got a little bit worse if we're playing Dig. Scaldkin, Summit Prowler, Trumpet Blast. I think I want Hooting Mandrills here. It's another 4 power guy. Come out and do some things for us. Here I like Crippling Chill. I also like Rugged Highlands. I think Rugged Highlands is just a higher priority right now. We unfortunately have not picked up much fixing. We do need some more creatures in our deck. This may or may not make it. Yeah, and our creature count is accurate. We don't have anything here that's really a creature. So Waterworld's good. Longshot Squad, it might be more important for us right now. Thornwood Falls, also I'd like to have. It's a little bit tough to pass the Waterworld, but I think we need a Longshot Squad there. We're basically just splashing red at this point. Presumably we're trying to keep all 4 of these cards, but that could change. I don't know how Vault Breaker got over there. So here we have Awaken the Bear, which I think is going to be our pick. Just a nice combat trick, a little expensive, but it's between that and Singing Bell Strike, and I think Awaken the Bear is going to do a little more work for us as a potential finisher and pseudo removal spell. So with us having a Savage Punch and 2 Hunt the Weaks in our list right now, we really need couple more creatures. 12 is not quite enough, especially Frostwalker. Does not work with any of those. Have some evasion. We have some bigger guys. Act of Treason is borderline. Hunt the Weak is definitely a card that could get cut if we don't find much to go with it. So here we have an okay morph of a 3-drop, or we go up to slightly better 4-drop. I don't think I can take the Thornwood Falls here. I don't need another Awaken the Bear. Still take that there. This is tough because I like Become Immense a lot. We do have 2 Delve cards already, and Smoke Teller kind of fits our bill as just a actually Bloodfire Expert. Kind of overlooked, but I really like in this deck. Main downside there is we just don't have much red mana. Snowhorn Rider is a very nice pickup for us here. It looks like at least we correctly read that Teamer is open. We didn't get paid off for it quite as much as I would like, but this is a nice pickup. Barrage of Boulders, Disdainful Stroke, also cards I'd like to have. Force Away is probably going to be the easy pick here. We don't need another Awaken the Bear, and We Fate is fine, but not a high priority. Summit Prowler is probably the pick. It's a little bit hard for us to cast. We Fate. I think I'm going to take over another Summit Prowler. And Teamer Banner is not something we're excited by, but could easily make our deck here because of our lack of fixing. It gets us to Aven Surveyor, Bear's Companion, and Sage Eye Avengers mana. Also potentially gets us to Summit Prowler mana if we're stuck on red. So I'm looking to keep that in right now. Summit Prowler I think could be a cut. Mystic of the Hidden Way, Glacial Stalker. Really looking to keep all the creatures that we have here. If I was going to cut something, maybe it's a long shot squad. Maybe Frostwalker is not a high priority. And we don't have the gentlest curve here, so it's worth considering playing 18 lands and the banner, but I'll probably play 17 lands and the banner. That would give us, we need to make 2 more cuts here. So I think one of these Hunt the Weeks can be a cut, depending on, it's just a little expensive. Savage Punch is better. Good, but expensive. Awaken the Bear, Winter Flame I think we like to keep to deal with earlier evasive creatures. Reality Shift seems very strong. Dig Through Time and We Fate are a little bit interchangeable, I think. I don't think I want to cut any of our creatures. 4 power isn't super important to us. It's good with Savage Punch and Force Away. And I think that's it. But that being said, our kind of 4 power guys aren't bad cards in their own right. And all these cards kind of work with them. So if I was going to cut something, do I cut a long shot squad because it's slow and go down to 14 creatures? With 2 card advantage spells? Is Longshot Squad just better than Hooting Mandrills if I'm playing Dig Through Time? Did I have another Delve card? Just Mandrills and Dig Through Time, I guess. Active Treason, still a reasonable card. I think I am going to want this Teamer banner though. I'm not really happy with only 2 dual lands without at least playing either 18 lands or 17 in a banner. Only 3 morphs, so we're not super safe there either. I think like Vault Breaker could be cut. I can dash it out on turn 3, discard a card, and if I do draw a card, or I just cast it as a 4-power dude. So what's our last cut here? I really want to play with Reality Shift just because I've heard that it's good, it looks good to me. I want to see how it plays. Savage Punch, Force Away, Winter Flame, Hunt the Weak. I think I'm considering Untouchable here. I think like if I was going to cut a non-creature card, it would be one of these 3. If I was going to cut a creature card, I think we're looking at Frostwalker, maybe a Bloodfire Expert because of the red mana requirement, maybe Vault Breaker, maybe Hooting Mandrills. These guys, Untouchable, everything up here needs to be in our deck. I'd consider like trying to minimize my red, but I don't really have anything to put in that case. Rakshas's Disdain is not like I think it makes our deck worse. Not really sure between Longshot Squad and Hooting Mandrills what's better. Force Away is just a tempo spell. I mean, it can work well with Bear's Companion, I guess. Although we're not really trying to play that on our own card most of the time. Question is, how much of a tempo deck are we? We're not really. Jessica has much more tempo. Teamer is much more beat down. So I think Force Away could go away. I really think I like Reality Shift. I think maybe I try taking out a Longshot Squad and running it like this with the 14 creatures. Dog is going insane right now. I have to go check on her in a second. So this will give us 8 blue sources. Maybe we actually want the 9 blue. And this gives us 4 red, 6 green. I think that's pretty good actually. So I think we'll go with that. We'll be back for round 2. Sorry, I'll be back for round 1 in a minute or 2.